In today's video, we're going to cover the gold at Fort Knox. Is the gold truly there? So Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that there's a report that confirms that the gold is indeed there at Fort Knox. And Bessent says that they audit the gold every year, but that is a complete lie. So you know how I know? It's because I took the time to read that report, and it is just utter nonsense. And I'm going to show it to you. So the United States Bullion Depository is also known as Fort Knox, and it's in the mighty fine state of Kentucky. So Fort Knox is a fortified vault situated right next to the United States Army post of Fort Knox. So the US Treasury started shipping gold here in 1937 and 1941. Now, according to the United States Mint, which is a government agency within the Department of the Treasury, the government holds approximately 274 million troy ounces of gold, of which 147 million troy ounces, or 54% of that, is held at Fort Knox. Now, there's a long-standing rumor that the gold is missing, or at least the stated amount is not there. And many times when there's smoke, there's fire. So why are these rumors circulating? And I'd say probably because the gold at Fort Knox has not been audited in decades. So you may have heard of some of these popular rumors that, one, there have been secret sales to foreign entities. So some speculate that the US government secretly sold a portion of the gold to raise money. And another popular rumor is that the US government has no title to the gold at Fort Knox. So in other words, the gold is at Fort Knox. However, other entities have claim to the gold. Therefore, the gold no longer belongs to the US government. And the third one is that, of course, many people believe that the gold is counterfeit gold, that the gold bars are really tungsten bars that are plated in gold, which is why they won't allow an audit. Now, I want to show you this video clip of President Trump saying in February that he wants to go to Fort Knox to make sure that the gold is really there and it's truly gold. So please take a look.
One of the things we do want to look at, we hope everything's fine with Fort Knox, but we're going to go to Fort Knox, the fabled Fort Knox, to make sure the gold is there.
Where would the gold have brought up?
If the gold isn't there, we're going to be very upset.
And Elon Musk is saying the same thing, that we should go to Fort Knox to check on the gold. So please take a look.
Fort Knox. Oh, Fort Knox. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Well, that's up to the president, of course. But I think it would be, I think it would be awesome to live stream Fort Knox. You know, I mean, that would be really fun. And after all, it is actually the gold of the American people. So the American people should, it seems to me, have a right to see their gold. You know, hopefully it looks really cool. You know, open the doors, like, is there? Like, is that really gold? Let's check. You know, so maybe it'll be really interesting. I'm all for it. The president says he's interested in doing it, so hopefully that happens. So, all right.
Okay, now you have to see this video clip. This is a video clip of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent confirming that the gold is truly there at Fort Knox. He says that the gold is audited every year. So please, which is a complete lie, but please take a look at what he says.
One thing potentially that could happen, and people are questioning it, is maybe remarking gold. Elon Musk, who's leading Doge, was talking about maybe going to Fort Knox to make sure those gold reserves are there. That comes under your purview. Do you have any plans to visit Kentucky?
I don't have any plans. I can tell you that we do an audit every year. I can tell the American people on camera right now that there was a report September 30th, 2024. All the gold is there. Any U.S. senator who wants to come and visit it can arrange a visit through our office.
Okay, so you just saw that for yourself. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying that they audit the gold at Fort Knox every year. And the last one was from a report from September 30th of 2024. Okay, so but that's confusing because people have been saying that they haven't done an audit for decades, but you have Bessent there saying that they do an audit every year. So what is going on? I'm going to show you what's going on because I dug up the reports from September 30th of 2024. So here it is. The audit reports of gold reserves as of September 30th of 2024. So this is the report that Bessent says confirms that the gold is there at Fort Knox. Now, I want you to know that what Bessent said was a complete lie. They did not audit the gold at Fort Knox, which is why President Trump is saying that he wants to go to Fort Knox to audit the gold. So this is the audit report. It's 20 pages long. And here's the table of contents, okay? And let's jump right into the meat of it. Let's look at what the auditors found. So here's what it says, and I'm going to highlight the important findings. In our audits of the Department of Treasury schedules of gold reserves as of September 30th of 2024, we found that the Treasury schedules of U.S. gold reserves are presented fairly. And to summarize here, In the auditor's opinion, the schedules of gold reserves are presented fairly. Okay, so do you see what's going on here? They did not audit the actual gold in Fort Knox. They audited the schedules of gold, which are just reports of where the gold is supposed to be, which is essentially this on page 8 of the report. So let me zoom in so that you can see it better. So here it is. Look at the schedules of the United States gold reserves. Yeah, so take a look for yourself. Look at the strenuous amount of work that the audit of the schedules entailed. So this is the audit that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is referring to.
Have to ask you, sir, the question that everybody wants to know from the Treasury Department, is there actually still gold in Fort Knox?
We do an audit every year. So the audit that ended the year September 30th, 2024, all the gold is present and accounted for.
Okay.
Okay, so listen, why is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent trying to fool people into believing that an actual audit was done to verify the gold at Fort Knox? Well, I'm asking you, I don't know, you tell me. Now, I want to bring this to your attention. Auditing the gold at Fort Knox would actually be a big ordeal. So this is an estimation provided by JM Bullion. So they estimate that it would take 18 months to do a full audit of the gold at Fort Knox. That's because there are 368,250 gold bars in Fort Knox. So each gold bar weighs 27.5 pounds, and the gold is stored in 13 small compartments that are 6 feet wide by 12 feet deep by 8 feet tall. So that's small. That's not enough space to bring in equipment or a forklift or even a big team of people to assist. And it was intentionally designed that way for security purposes. So you would have to work with a small audit team of 20 people to verify 368,250 gold bars, which is 18,412 gold bars per person. And then you have to count them, weigh them, and inspect them. And it is expected that they're going to encounter discrepancies, which is going to require additional time to process. Okay, so going back to this audit of 2024, they didn't do this. They didn't do any of this. They didn't audit the gold. No, they just made a report based off some other reports. And this is page 10 of the report. So notes to the schedules. And they look at what they did. They changed the market value from 2023 to 2024. Like, oh, wow, what a great audit. Now, I want to give you a timeline of the last actual audits of the gold at Fort Knox. So there was one completed in 1953. So at that audit, 88,000 gold bars were inspected, 9,000 gold bars were weighed, 26 gold bars were randomly sampled and drilled into for testing for purity. So here's the report from 1953. And here it states what I just said, 88,000 gold bars were counted, 9,000 weighed, and 26 bars assayed. And the audit concluded, we, the undersigned, found the assets verified to be in full agreements. So in other words, everything looked good. And then another audit was performed in 1974. 91,604 gold bars were inspected. They were sampled for weight and purity. So that was in this report, the 1974 report, which was provided in February of 1975. And the conclusion was, the gold stored at Fort Knox Depository agrees with the records of that depository. And then from 1975 to 1984, there was a continuing audit program done each year. So they systematically verified all the gold over time. There's a portion done each year. 97% of the gold bars were audited by 1984. But ever since then, for the past 40 years, the gold has not been audited. So sure, there were some photo ops done, like in 2017 when former Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin got to visit Fort Knox, and Senator Mitch McConnell as well, to confirm the existence of the gold there at Fort Knox. However, Mnuchin and McConnell, they didn't inspect or audit the gold. It was just a glorified guided tour. So look at how happy McConnell looks here, like having the time of his life. He's not doing an audit. Anyways, let me know what you think, whether you believe that the gold is there or not. Please subscribe. I'll keep you updated on this whole situation if anything develops. Thank you so much and wish you a very nice day. Take care.